Great. Okay, so let's move on to our final stage. And I'm going to ask Chris to release the one pager into the chat as well, so that you make sure you've got that copied as we're speaking, so you don't miss that. Yeah, enable is got there. You know, if vision is get clear and mobilize is get going and develop is get better, well, enable is got there. Oh, and by the way, when you've got there, you might want to be going back around the loop. And let me just give you just a couple of things that, so for example, Steve Thorpe talked about being a player manager in the mobilizing stage. In the enable stage, you're on the bench, Steve, because actually the players are enabled to do what they need to do in formation in the appropriate way. And it's a really important reminder to us that once a team or an individual is enabled in the area that you are talking about when it comes to these four stages, actually it's kind of back off, allow them to flourish and to shine themselves. And when you've got people with high expressive energy, sometimes that's hard to just sit back, and think about what happens next, as opposed to getting involved in the kind of in the nitty gritty when a team is already enabled. I just wanted to say a couple of things around delegation when it comes to the got there stage. I don't know about you, but in my career as a leader of people, there have been times where I've delegated when really I've abdicated. There have been times when I've delegated a task which actually the team were not ready for, or an individual wasn't ready for. Because I hadn't been really clear about the vision of success, nor had I mobilized, nor had I developed through coaching. It was just right, get on with it. And guess what happened? The individual failed. I failed as a result, and actually, it was a massive learning. It's a massive learning. So one of the I think the main message from me when it comes to enabling is to absolutely make sure that before you delegate, you've been through those four stages. So I'll give you the example with Big Bus Tours is that 9 years on, actually, there are some supervisors on the streets. There is a supervisor on the streets in Dubai, a lady called Jennifer. And Jennifer came through. As I said, we were lucky enough to be refreshing some of the academy training last week. And Jennifer came back into the room as a supervisor. She's actually now their operations manager. Most have been promoted, which is very good to see. And that so she came back as the operations manager to refresh her training, make sure that the customer service element was great and that the drivers being trained in the right way and so on. And she came back and she absolutely got it. She's totally enabled when it comes to training. All she wanted was the new tools for the trade. Thank you. She's like, give me my stuff. Please give me my stuff. Yeah, asked a few questions and she's enabled. Whereas actually, there are some of the cities who are brand new onto the Big Bus family who are not enabled. And actually, they've now got a vision of success about what it needs to look like. But they are absolutely in mobilized stage. So mobilized stage needs mentors, needs support, needs help wherever needed, needs a WhatsApp group, needs some check-ins to make sure. And each of the cities, and indeed each of the individuals in the city, are on a different level of the vision, mobilize, develop, enable continuum. So listen, I think I've got 6 elements of being enabled that got there. And bearing in mind that once you got there, you're straight back round to vision because it changes every day pretty much. But in terms of got there, where would you say you and your team are right now out of 6? And that final question, what might be the element that you might want to think about in terms of what you might like to develop? Yeah, so yeah, that 3 out of 6. So consistency of leadership and consistency of team to keep team competency. Paul, thank you. Feedback and learning. So in that mobilize, develop, and the feedback to make sure that customer excellence is absolutely right. So listen, we are just about out of time. Let me give you a quick summary of our 4-step process for leading. And as I say, do grab that out of the chat. I think, Chris, we could probably add it through to the follow-up when we send the recording out to the people who've attended. Thank you. So yeah, which of the areas do you might need to work more on? Well, I've disappeared there. Visioning, mobilizing, developing, or enabling. Visioning, get clear. Mobilizing, get going. Developing, get better. And enabling, got there. Been an absolute pleasure to share that with you. If you've got any questions at all, I'll be staying on a couple more minutes. And if you'd like a half-an-hour session to think about on some coaching around how you might get to where you'd like to be with your team, then Chris is going to recommend that you give us a call. I think you'll put that into the follow-up as well, Chris. And yeah, we'd love to speak to you. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for being
Brilliant.
here.
Thanks so much, Amanda.
Bye.
That's fantastic.
Bye.